start whenever I say we start, and we start
right now. Go!
Welcome to the
Fire
Lore Dump,
Podcast.
everybody. Hey, we're new at this.
Hey! Woo, welcome. Are we, though? This is episode 3.
This is 3 weeks in. This is big stuff. This is the turning point where we find out if this was all one big fever dream or if it's our new career.
And we practice every day, right? Because we're 3 weeks in, and we do shoot this weeks apart, correct? And then we practice. The rest of our lives are spent practicing for podcasts.
Yes, the rest of my life has become a topic gathering quest for my podcast.
And this isn't shot back to back to back. No, this is spaced out.
These are weeks apart. It's Christmas now.
What did you get me?
I am Jewish. Okay, anyways.
What?
I don't know what's happening anymore.
We lost the track immediately. Like, we started off track.
Well, hopefully, audience, dear listeners, hopefully you're still here. And hopefully after that, you are listening to these episodes in order. This is our 3rd episode, our first of the 3 main creation topics. After this episode, we will be using the second half of each episode to answer audience questions and do specific audience-related things. If you wanted to be involved in that, please send us an email at loredumpquestions@gmail.com.
Or social media.
Or our social media, Josh, at the Lore Dump on Instagram and Twitter.
I knew you knew. I just wanted to sound important and smart.
I know. And I let you have that moment where you sounded like a genius, and I was a big dumb.
Thank you for being so gracious and kind to me.
I appreciate you being here, bud. Oops. So, let's do a quick little review of what we're going to need to know about our world, if the people haven't listened to the past episodes, to get in on today's big topic.
Pantheon. Talking about the Pantheon today,
Talking about that Pantheon.
And I tell you what, we've got some creation myth to work with that we started with what comes first, the chicken or the egg, and then we didn't answer that question. We just did our own thing.
We said, why not both?
Why not both? Yeah. So a chicken and an egg manifested, and our planet is the egg.
Yes.
But the most important thing for you all to understand, you need to go back to episode 1, because really it's the best. Everything's downhill from
Everything
there.
starts at
episode
beginning.
1.
Kiss.
But essentially, after this chicken laid the egg that is our planet, a being from the other side, from across dimension, we haven't really established what this plane is, came over to this side to keep the egg from hatching. And it did that by seeding life across the surface of the egg. The inhabitants of this egg then, so the NPCs and the PCs, actually exist as a sort of parasitic life form that are keeping the egg from hatching. The being from beyond got a little panicked and was worried that the chicken might come back if it noticed its power. So after doing that, the being from beyond split itself into multiple entities, a yet undefined number of entities. And those entities are going to be our gods. And that's really the gist of it. Again, it's much better defined in episode 1, so definitely go take a look. But that's what you need to know to understand this conversation.
So, this thing, this guy from the other side, this other side man, let's call him our friendly neighbor.
The being.
The being. That's a good one. Better than friendly neighbor. Let's say he created the first people. And I want to put this to you. What if he created elves? What if he said, all this egg needs is the elves? These elves will watch over this egg, take its energy, and, keep it sustained. It would keep it in that stasis we were talking about. What if he only put elves here? And then he divided.
Okay, so he put elves on the planet, and then the division happened, and that's when things start to get freaky.
Yes, and all those other divisions put other things on the planet, other races and beings.
Because he doesn't have control over his own portions of self.
No.
They are entirely sentient and with their own...
He fully dies when he splits himself.
And there's no chance of reforming, or is there a chance?
Oh, that's up to you, listener. Well,
Tell us what you think.
That would be up to whoever wants to write that adventure one way or the other. But I think
that could be a cool other cult, because
Yeah.
we did talk about a cult that worships the giant astral chicken, but equally cool would be a cult that is attempting to recombine all gods into one ultra god.
that could be good too. Interesting.
Anyway, Pantheon. We'll talk about religions
We'll wait
later,
till
'cause
it
Pantheon
cults.
comes first. Yeah, we like cults. We're here for the cult stuff.
I'm in your bridge, God man.
Look at me disrespecting your bridge.
So, how do we want to say how many shards we have? How many gods we have?
No.
No, we don't. I refuse to.
Well, here's the thing. Players are going... I think we need to have key gods and gods that inform our cultures and societies and some of our classes and general laws and lore and stuff like that. That meets the need. But I also like to leave room for a player to bring their own deity into
fully.
a space or a world.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we have to leave some loophole. So if we did define the number of shards, there would have to be other gods
Okay.
that can manifest.
Yeah, that I fully believe in leaving space for others to manifest among these ones. But
Yes.
I'm saying
This is more for the audience than for you.
this is
Sean.
more
I know
just
you-
for me to feel good at night when I go to bed about my world. I want to make sure it's protected and it's got the right gods it needs.
Okay.
Unlike this one.
Well, you gave us a good starting point in episode 1.
Yeah.
You talked about the god of death.
Yeah.
So there's all this lore around how sentient life has been put on this planet to drain the life force from it. But that sentient life has a lifespan that, well, actually, elves first. They still have a lifespan. There's still death, but there's elements. The cycle of life and death is a really good place to start with
Yes.
pantheons.
I will say
Why?
I will say of the topic of death, the mechanics around death in D&D are infuriating because they don't exist.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, sure, spell is cast and you're back. That is a conversation we can have on another date. We can just do a whole episode on death. But the specifics around the god of death, yes, we do need to determine the cycle of life.
Yeah, because there is an element of, like, where do souls go? Is it multiple places? Because, in D&D, again, there's all these vague different places that souls can go to. Are there souls? Like, what is, And I know we touch dangerously upon the mechanical elements that we don't want to get into, but we do need to be, if we're defining the god of death, we have to have some sort of grander framework for
Right. What if the souls, if they're not taken care of by one of these gods, or they're not watched by one of these gods, they actually feed the chicken? They feed the egg.
Oh, that's good.
If you're bad, you feed the egg, and if you're good, you get taken and work, and you get kept safe by the shard people in the sky.
So it's like either your soul, your essence is consumed by the egg, and that's it.
Right.
Or you're pulled into...
That energy you're taking away from the egg. When you die and you're not
put
taken
back.
by one of the shards, you're given back to the egg, and it's helping it wake up.
So the god of death's job is to capture that essence.
That god and
That's
its
good.
followers are to keep the egg from being charged more by people dying.
That's juicy.
It's juicy. It's a big premium cut. That's what we'll call it.
Oh, there's so much to be done with that.
Yeah. Let's stew it up.
Nom, nom.
Big juicy
Okay.
chef's kiss.
So we know where the souls go if they're not captured by the god of death.
Yes.
Where do they go if they are? Where does this
They
essence,
go-
where does this energy go?
Is there a heaven?
Aruba.
Aruba. They go to Aruba on like a sandals resort or something. They just have
Their dog from when they were 5 was there.
They have a free 2-drink coupon each day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good
good
place.
shit.
It's a good place.
Yeah. Singles or couples?
Couples, obviously. So, is there a heaven?
Is there... I hate the concept of heaven, but also
I do.
angels are really important.
But there needs to be an after place, because where else would like things like Speak with Dead and revivify and stuff like that. True resurrection. That wouldn't be possible unless there was some place to put these things after they, perish.
Can heaven not be idyllic?
It can be a neutral place.
Celestia?
It can be purgatory.
Yeah.
What if there's no heaven? What if it's just purgatory?
It's just a parking lot where they keep your essence.
Yeah. That would suck, though. That sounds like hell.
That is torture.
What if everyone who comes back to life is like, don't die? That's so fucking boring.
What if it's like a cryostasis sort of thing? You don't even know you're there.
Huh. That would be pretty cool, actually. If you like revive someone, they just like wait, like, what year is it? And they're like, whatever. It just literally, the god of death just takes them and like puts them in his pocket.
Yeah. And they're in this kind of extra dimensional space where time doesn't exist.
That's pretty. They're outside of time. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So if you die and you're collected by the god of death, you're taken and put outside of time, which is perfect because essentially it's taking the energy that would be fueling the chicken and it's freezing it and keeping it away from the chicken.
Yeah, it's keeping it in a place you can't go. Now, alternatively, if you go into the egg, what does that look like? And can you be taken out of that place?
I think that's the end.
That is the end of a soul?
I think so. But perhaps there's another entity trying to collect souls before it gets there. So you could have a battle for life and death, but both of them know that there is this end nothing.
Yes.
Because I think I want to stick by what you said earlier, like that the egg consumes it and that's it.
It's done.
Yeah.
No true resurrection, no resurrection, no nothing. It goes down and it's dead.
And the egg gets a little closer to cracking open and giving birth to this astral chicken.
Like the tiniest little bit closer, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like this is
astronomically. It's not going to tip the scale like the balance of one person does.
A drop on the ocean. But let's say there's genocide or 100 years of war. That has implications because death rates go up. Death is busier, not able to collect all those spirits.
Yes.
Suddenly, that drop in the water becomes gallons being dumped into the ocean and tons or. You know what I mean?
Icebergs falling off of the continents up north.
Yes.
I mean, what?
Mm-hmm. Global warming is real.
That's
climate change, whatever.
So I like that. I like that there is this sort of aspect.
Our planet has global warming, Sean.
Okay, well, maybe don't immediately put them into that sort of position.
Politicize.
This is my fantasy escape. Don't make me live in global warming in two places.
Don't make it real.
I think that's good. I think that whole concept of like people feel like the soul's going down into this egg and that being like the end of a soul, I think that is very interesting.
The end of soul and a step towards the end of the world. Yes,
because the whole purpose for their lives, whether they know it or not, is to keep that energy away from the egg. And if that energy gets to what's inside the egg, game's over. You're done.
Yep.
We lost that energy. Okay. I like that.
Which means the god of dead among the pantheon or the god of death amongst the pantheon of the gods is very important.
Oh yes, revered almost.
Revered by their peers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that the god of death isn't like a bad guy or like an evil god.
He's literally keeping the world from ending.
And it's not the Raven Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. A world without the Raven Queen. We could only be so lucky.
As much as we love the Raven Queen.
As much as we love the Raven Queen, you guys need to stop making Raven Queen clerics. Just saying. Anyways, I digress.
Stupid listeners, how dare you?
Listen, guys. I'm mad at you. No.
I like how 80% of this podcast is you yelling at the people
then
listening.
Then I cut it out later. It's just therapeutic. Alright. So we got the god of death kind of figured out mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
What about...
And enough. Are we going to name these gods right now?
I don't think we need to name them.
Okay.
I don't think we need to name them. Themselves. I don't think we need to name them until we start developing people.
That's fair. And maybe our listeners name them.
That's another thing we can do. Hell yeah, we can have the listeners name all our gods.
Mm-hmm. Name the god of death, guys. Consider what we've just posited.
All right.
Excuse me.
First off, I know it's been weeks. Oh, it's been such a long time, and we've been slow to get around to this. But still, we haven't figured out a name for that continent yet. So again, keep sending in those continent names, and then let's say maybe around episode 6, we might get around to releasing what the name of that continent you guys decided was. Also, if you have any good names for the god of death, be sure to send that into those aforementioned places. loredumpquestions@gmail.com or the loredump at Instagram and Twitter. Okay, next guy.
Extra points if you name it like Philip or something stupid.
If it's rad, if it's a cool name, or if it gives us a good giggle, it's immediately a winner. Okay. So, the god of war. Or is that a later? Is that a later one?
Well, no. Let's play off of this. Is good segue because we've established that capturing souls so they don't fuel the rebirth of this planet's core, aka the destruction of the world, is good by the god of death. War is counterintuitive to that. What if the god of war is not this aggressive monstrosity like it is in every other world? What if it is a being who is trying to keep people from war? It is trying to keep the peace more. It's the god of war because it's trying to prevent it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
So it inherently understands war and the philosophy of war.
Yes.
It's Sun Tzu of gods.
Basically. It understands that war isn't just like, oh yeah, let's go fight people over there for the glory of us. It's just, if something needs to be fought for, it needs to be done very carefully and with purpose. And
I like that a lot because, it also again plays into the inevitability of conflict, but needing to manage. Yes.
They're not so out removed from things that they're not like, these people are never going to fight each other. We're fine. This is good. They see that need and they're like, okay, well, let's try and. If it has to happen, let's make some rules, huh?
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to it's very balance oriented again because you also need to have a element of population control, and war is a part of that, along with death, plague, disease.
Yes.
So there's also I don't know. I wonder if the god of war is terrifyingly logical and cold and detached.
Yes.
And they apply war where it is necessary and negate it where it is necessary.
You played a lot of Destiny, right?
Yes.
The war mines? That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
They literally are the population balance god.
Yeah.
More than war. Maybe we make war and plague almost the same sort of deity.
That's an interesting concept. They're two sides of the same coin, but people see them as different entities on the planet.
It's all the same
That
god.
is very cool. I like that. They have different names depending on how you believe in them, but they are the same entity, and in the grand scheme of things, that is interesting.
Absolutely, that's good. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, that's spicy.
Okay. What is there a god of life? Because that's just everyone. I think that was the first one, and also that one's but that was the elves, and here's the I think that one is the god of life in that it sowed life and constructed a cycle of life and death. It was the god of it was just the creator.
The creator.
It wasn't one of the deities that they worship, because I don't think anyone knows about that thing anymore.
Right.
Except for maybe 6 people.
So there isn't. Maybe there's a god of birth, but that's not actually what their purpose is, right? A lot of people attribute a maiden of fertility or whatever gross thing you want to call it.
Yeah.
But that's not actually relevant. Birth is inherently a part of the creation myth. So from a Pantheon perspective, there's inevitably some goddess or god or non-binary deity that is prescribed the sort of matronly role, but that isn't actually a part of the Pantheon. It's just the NPCs, the sentient beings on the planet's surface, prescribing their own needs onto some other deity. That's just like whatever.
I like that a lot. It's very good. How do we function that? Like, how does birth look? Is it the same as it is on other D&D worlds? Are the elves...
Sean, when a man loves a woman,
oh,
wait,
that can happen?
Sometimes they'll come together in unison.
You mean like a handshake?
And yes, but with Barry Manilow playing
I
in
love
the
that
background.
Guy. He's got some really good music.
Yeah, he's really good.
Barry Manilow, really? Wait, hold on. Can we back up a little bit? Barry Manilow,
Shut up.
Not
Shut
Barry
up.
White or something?
Look, I'm just repeating what my parents told me.
God, that explains so much, and yet had so many more questions attached to it.
Shush, quiet you.
All right.
Okay.
So when parents in this world do the friendly handshake, what does that look like? Is it the same thing? Like, do humans, have a 9-month birth? Do elves have a few years of pregnancy?
What is procreation? Is what you're saying?
Yes. Like, I like the timescales for different lifespans to make children being drastically different, because it has to be that way. Otherwise, elves would be fucking every other person, and they would live infinitely.
Right.
So
okay, so I think that intercourse exists and procreation exists.
This world fucks.
Yeah, this world fucks.
That's our first stance on this episode.
So much. Okay, so this world fucks.
This world fucks.
Which is good. That's quality content.
It's
great. And I think that the life cycles that you've provided are solid. I think we don't fuck with the fuck.
I think the fuck
stays
the fuck stays unfucked.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Don't fuck the fuck, because that's how you get a paradox.
This is I think we just found the episode title for this episode.
Don't fuck the fuck.
Don't fuck the fuck.
I love it so much.
There it is. Okay, so the god of life, would they be closely related to that war god that sort of balances population? Or is that like, if the life god puts too much or too little on the planet, that's when this god steps in and fixes? Or
I don't think there is a god of life.
There just
I
is
think
life.
This initial god that split itself created life, and it won't stop.
Interesting. Okay, I like that.
And I think cultures and societies will create their own pantheons and project their own birth god perspectives. But I think from a pantheon perspective, life is perpetual on this planet.
So let me give you a
death is something that has to be managed.
Let me throw a hypothetical at you. Let's say someone wants to play in this world. They want to play a life cleric. What would that be?
More akin, okay.
Because they can't pray to nothing and get powers out of it.
Is life nature? Or does a life domain's cleric, is it literally them sapping the force from the planet that provides us with our essence?
That
is life domain actually evil?
Well,
kind of in a weird, not evil, but
I would say probably not, because they could talk to their deity.
That's true.
It's hard for you to be like, well, what is going to happen tomorrow, my god? And it's like, so
canonically, it sounds like that now.
Oh god.
That's it.
So I feel like there needs to be some sort of sentience behind what they believe and what's giving them their powers. Otherwise, it's going to be like, I cast commune, and it's like, okay, nothing comes back because your whole religion's a lie.
So is the life god the god that maintains the flow of energy from the core to nature and the sentient creatures? It's the one that manages the faucet.
I like that. That is cool. Okay. So it's a being that sort of manages how much energy is able to flow at any given moment.
So it's again a balanced creature.
I like how all of these gods are balanced creatures.
Yeah, they literally exist to maintain this planet in this stasis.
Yes.
It's good. It's really good.
And they can both have like good sides and bad sides, like the war and the plague are the same guy. What if life and death are the same person?
So they're turning the tap on, and they're
What if
guiding things on the way out.
What if the souls he's collecting from falling to the center are being put back, being cleansed? That energy is being like cleansed and recycled in. That's why they have to keep it at a base level population. What if they're not just being sit on the side? What if they like set out for a few hundred years to reset, and then he puts them back into the cycle?
So it's a wellspring.
Literally.
If there's a war and the balance starts to go out, and there's too many or too few deaths or let's say there's actually like a period of peace and there's not many souls being sucked back into the core,
Yes.
death can go, okay, we're going to take a sprinkling of souls and put them back into the core.
Things aren't moving. We're going to take some out of the refrigerator and put them back.
Yeah, otherwise the planet's going to get out of whack.
So life and death would be the same person at that point.
Controlling that cycle.
Is that good?
I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, can we make them twins? Or something like that.
I think that's good. I like them being different entities, because I just thought about it and I was like, I don't like them talking to the death god about life.
And I think as a cleric or as a dungeon master, when your life or death cleric inevitably like trolls in and you're like, oh yeah, well they're different gods, but then canonically they're the same, it's hard to DM to that. So I think actually intentionally parsing those out is a good shot.
I like the idea.
But they're
of
twins. Yeah.
Like when he shattered,
It
two
was
connected
one.
pieces separated. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Or maybe it was one god for a little bit, and
It split
it's
itself.
one god for the elves, and it was some sort of conflict, and another race was created from that or something. As well, like there could be global relevance to that split.
Okay.
That further split. I'm not saying that that's necessary, but it's something that you could tie in.
Okay, so we're not going to put in the purpose behind it, but something split the original one god of death into life and death.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
And it's really, we say life and death to make it understandable by us, but it's really,
I think we've gone over.
it's really the god of balance.
Well, the terms I'm using to like, okay, who is the god of death?
Yeah,
That's from the planet's perspective up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm just reiterating it for myself.
How the DM has to describe it to the party, so they're not like, oh, they're the same being.
Yeah, because you got to be
Yeah.
all these tricksy things.
Yeah. Speaking of trixies,
Okay.
is there a god of tricksters, or is there just like a lesser deity sort of thing that came about later?
I hate the god of tricksters. I like the god of probability.
Probability is good. That's very good. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I really struggle with a god's entire purpose is just to deceive people. That's not a purpose.
Well, usually it's like Loki, who eventually stumbles into power as a prankster, like asshole, or a YouTube bro. Basically, it's like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, one of those two assholes.
But those aren't founding Pantheon like gods. They're demigod come gods.
Well, that's what I mean. We can probably have some like the Traveler type thing out there. Spoilers for people in Critical Role Campaign 2. If you haven't watched it,
What's a Traveler?
Watch it. It's from Destiny. Don't worry about
it. We do a lot of Destiny tie-ins with our giant ovoids.
So far, it's been 2. Oh no, we did one in the first episode. You're right.
Yeah. Destiny's good.
Yeah.
Good lore in that game.
It's alright. They should really tell people about it then.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to read 800 gallons of
that game failed
unlocks.
for a reason. Americans don't like to read.
Literacy is hard.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is.
So, probability god.
Probability
Fate.
god. Yes.
Fate.
Not so much fate, because there's not like probability doesn't mean you know how things are going to end. That's what fate is. Fate and destiny are bullshit in this world.
Yeah. Fuck that.
But
we don't need that.
Probability is most likely increasing or decreasing the odds of something.
And it's important. This probability god works with all the other gods because they rely on him to tune the world in the right direction.
I think this probability god is the one that like everyone else sort of almost reports to or feeds their information to, and they take that information and like give back corrections to their sort of situations. Like, we need more souls.
Yes.
We need less souls on this continent. You know, that sort of thing.
I love that. I
I
like
soul
the idea.
Is their Parker.
Yeah. That Parker Bliss, awesome cosplayer. Go check
Parker
her out.
Bliss,
She's fantastic.
the other third that owns Twee, and very, very instrumental to us being able to function as human beings.
An absolute legend. Yes.
So
That's their Parker. I'm fashioning in my mind this probability god, like this grand archivist.
yes.
Who's got this massive wealth of data.
How about this?
Like pulls on.
Ooh. They stored information in the stars.
Okay, so our pinpoints of light are
Different archives
data
of
points.
information.
Yes.
Because there's not that many like incubation stars in the distance, but this is all the information they've gathered.
Right. And those points of light are also traveling at the same time.
Yes.
Because they're tethered to this planet, to these gods. The stars are traveling with the planet on its trajectory. It's not like our traditional galaxy concept. Yes, this is good. I like this. And that's why astrology exists in this world, and you could get into all kinds of cool concepts with star reading and projection and mapping possibility.
And I like the aspect of the people on the planet seeing it as the god of the night. Not necessarily like, oh, this grand mastermind who keeps all the information for everyone else. They're the god of the night. They are the god of the stars. They are the god of, you know, that sort of time period, because that's when you see all their work. And then people are like, oh, night god. Trickery. Trickery happens at night. That's the trickery god.
Okay, so it's like that again, them projecting onto this
Yes.
probability god, a trickery god element. Yes.
Yeah, like they'll create
Or
myths about like Loki kind of stuff. No, that didn't happen. People just made those stories up, and people were like, "That's a religion. I'm following that. That truly happens."
And that's like, you've got this one group that thinks they're a trickery god. You've got one group that thinks she's a seer god, an oracle,
fully.
like, and the same
Like the misinterpretations of the ancient texts. Like, oh no, they think it's a night tricker god. That's no. They are the god of all things in the heavens. It's like, oh Jesus. Okay, I like that.
Love it.
That's
and some of them don't even know they're worshiping the same damn god.
Yes, I also love that aspect.
Beautiful.
So is there
Elegant.
There's no god of the sun, because the sun is nothing. But I do believe that people can pull power from it.
Okay. Just because it is a ball of
Because it is
of
a ball
incubating
of
energy.
It's a ball of self-sustaining energy, essentially.
Yeah. That's good.
But there's no like sentience to it.
What about nature?
Nature is very important.
Druids, plant life, environment.
Well, I think
biome.
druids would have their own, be able to tap into like what's in the egg for like a non-evil purpose. They take that energy and like breathe it into the environment around them. I think that for like rangers and druids would be kind of interesting.
So is there no real god of nature? Is it that it is just the life force of the egg and they're tapping into that?
I think there
In
is
a way
a god of
different to
nature.
wizards.
Like elves were the only thing that existed on this planet originally. I think someone came along and added like lesser creatures that didn't need to be monitored so closely. They could just be sort of left to roam around and be like a base level to
An experiment.
basically
in
like an
attempt to-
experiment, but like a base level. Like if all humans died, they could give us some time.
So one of these shards got tired and was like, I don't like managing the sentient ones.
Yes.
Let's put less sentient ones on that
One of
just
the shards
cycle
got
through.
bored and was like, I'm gonna make a doggy, and then they made a doggy.
I don't want to babysit these ones that think too hard.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh
just
yeah, they
put
were scorned by people, so they created animals and like looked
or
after
scorned by
nature.
the elves. The elves were so cognizant and contemplative
Yeah.
and constantly like excessive. And this one god was like, God, this is fucking annoying.
Yes.
Let's have animals. They don't question things like that.
Now
They
you've-
cognate differently.
You've just stumbled upon something. Does this god not like elves?
I don't think it likes any sentience.
Okay, so if someone is a follower of this individual, they're not going to get much information back.
No. I think they have no interest.
I like that for like that sort of like
disinterested.
vague hints of like, oh, the trees blow in a direction, and like, fucking just go that way.
Yeah, it's leave me alone,
Yeah, like
please.
face and wind. I like that. I
You
really
and your
like
stupid questions.
that. Yeah,
So the god of nature
just doesn't care about people.
Just doesn't give a like. They want sentient beings gone, and they're in the way and an annoyance.
I don't know so much about being gone or like dead. They just don't want to deal with them.
Right.
Like whenever they reach out, they're
So
like, "Shut up!
yes.
I'm playing with this
Leave
cat."
me be. Yeah. Well, and like they attempted to replace them, but it was not enough. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they had their way, there wouldn't be sentient
Yeah. They said,
creatures.
"What about these bears?" It's like, well, they take up 1/8 of what an elf would take up, so we need more bears. He's like, "All right, let's just go back to people, I guess. Whatever.
This planet's not big enough for all
I'm
those
gonna
bears.
make birds, and I'm gonna make dogs, and I'm gonna make cows."
I'm gonna make an octopus,
Yeah.
and then one of the other gods is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
That's a nightmare. He's like, "Isn't it? Isn't it dope?" Look what I
It's
did.
like, look, it's got 8 arms and squirts ink and only lives in the water. The other gods are like, okay, dude, you need a break.
Yeah.
You need a vacation.
So, with that,
Mhm.
here's my possible explanation of why like beasts and monstrosities are different things. What if
Okay.
those were like bacteria that existed on the egg?
Yeah, I mean, well, we did talk about the Underdark, like
Well, the Underdark was
being
specifically
laced-
like filled with things to be like protecting.
as a but along the same logic. I'm all for that.
I like.
I
that.
love that.
I like that
Like,
idea.
Let's have, because theoretically, as it hurtles through the void that is space, it was collecting up the debris that was formed into
Mm-hmm.
the continents and water and such. But there's nothing that says it isn't also bacteria, like you said.
Yeah. Just creatures
So
living on
monstrous
this thing
races,
before that just stayed here after they survived the creation.
Yeah,
Purple worms and shit like that.
yeah,
I like that.
I like that a lot. Okay,
That's good.
okay. So we've got nature, life, death, probability. What
War.
next? War.
Um,
Craftsmanship. I'm going dwarf again.
I mean,
Ugh.
it's
Creativity.
there. How about this? I'm gonna bring up a list of all the cleric classes, and I'm just gonna look over it for some ideas.
That's a good idea.
Arcana. We don't have anything. Oh, probability.
Yeah, probability would be Arcana.
That's the one that controls the flow.
Probability is the... No, that's life and death controls the flow.
No, the flow of energy from the egg.
Yeah, that's life and death. The war, the twins control the actual flow, but it is dictated by the god of probability. The god of probability is like...
So the god of probability would be the one who deals with Arcana, or do we want to create another one for that?
I think the god of probability is probably the best
Okay.
for Arcana, because Arcana is also like knowledge, stored knowledge.
That would
which
also be
is-
the knowledge domain person then.
Yeah, knowledge domain, Arcana.
Grave,
Same god.
death,
Different-
those are already covered.
Nature's covered.
Forge, we don't really know if we need one of those, but we can talk about that. Nature, order, I think that can be literally any of them. Tempest,
The storm.
yeah. Trickery, we've got that. And war, yeah. I mean, we've got most of them covered. I don't think we need to be too in-depth with, like, the major Pantheon. Because
Yeah, I think that's
a
valid.
lot of them can be filled under a lot of different gods.
Yeah, and like demigods manifest and matriculate over time
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And I like the idea
kind
that
of want to go.
once the beings on this planet started reaching out to like the people who kept everything controlled and in place, they were like, we need to get other people in here to deal with the people we've created to take care of this. So they made demigods to be like, okay, now you talk to these people and you handle a portion of our strength that deals with them.
That is where our dragon on top of the pillars came from.
Ooh.
That is the god of this, the demigod of the storms, assigned to control weather patterns on this
The
planet.
demigod of tempests.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
And the dwarves fucked with that when they went
The
up
dwarves
there.
fucked with that and almost killed it.
And almost killed it.
They have its horn.
And they have its horn, and it's left. It's gone someplace else.
It's not in hiding, but it's just like, fuck this. I'm going somewhere else.
I'm not living here. Yeah,
this mountain's not worth it. I'll find another place. Yeah, okay, so that dragon is a demigod of just tempests and storms and like. Okay, I really like that. That's badass.
What similar demigods might our twins, life, death, war, what might they have created, manifested?
Sorry, motorcycle. What would they have manifested? What about is there a god of undead?
How does undeath happen?
Undeath happens when people use the energy from the egg, arcana, to pull down into the core and pull back a soul before it reaches the center.
Beautiful.
So it's this tainted, like, just energy. It's not even like a true soul. It's just the energy that left their body put back into their body.
Which is why it's such a gross mess.
It's nothing. It's just energy that ambulates and moves around.
Okay.
Yes. So
because there's like theoretically there's vampires and things like that,
right.
But that manifests through different levels of sentience and corruption.
Yes.
Okay.
I also like the fact that people can put themselves in a demigod position by feeding off of like the energy in the egg to a point where like the gods aren't really powerful enough to say no to them.
Okay.
Without putting in like a lot of effort that would take away from them keeping the egg in stasis. So there are things that are like not good among the Pantheon that they didn't necessarily put there.
Right, but they've worked their way into it.
Yes.
That segues well into what's a demigod-like creature that manifested from the Underdark, from the protective layer on the shell.
What if, and hear me out on this, one of those aforementioned bacterias, the purple worm, what if it wasn't supposed to be there that long because they're just bacteria on the egg? The egg's supposed to hatch long ago. What if this thing just stayed on the surface, absorbing its energy, and grew to like this immense scale? There's just this like almost like a world snake, like from
this
Norse
huge
mythology.
tapeworm.
Literally,
in the egg.
There's almost like a tapeworm, a purple worm that just circles the entire Underdark, and like basically you'll go down there and just see like these massive caverns where it's just dug straight through,
the size of cities or mountain ranges.
Yeah.
These holes.
There can even be like parts of it that partially punctured. It's so strong that maybe just parts of it have like punctured the surface of the egg.
Yeah, like there's a giant hole somewhere. Maybe under the ocean, like it came through or collapsed or something, and there is a portion of a sea that's pouring into the Underdark. Ooh, that would be interesting.
Okay, you just said, there's a giant hole somewhere, and then you cut off.
So there's a giant hole. You said like this creature punctured the surface. What if it punctured the surface under the ocean, and there is this maelstrom where the ocean is pouring into the lower crust, the underside of this planet?
Ooh, I like it. I do like that.
That would be cool.
That's really cool.
That's a good geographical element for later.
For later.
We don't have to go into depth into that.
We're just putting little hints and stuff we can come back to later.
Things to work with.
Yeah, but I do like that sort of just this entity being a mindless creature that has almost godlike power because it is just absorbing energy.
How mindless? Or is it something that our
it could
warlocks
have become
tap into?
Sentient over the curse, but originally it was just a purple worm absorbing energy mindlessly. And then eventually it might have developed sentience over thousands of years.
I think it did.
Yes.
What has its purpose become? And is it... I like to think that this thing is offering to be a patron to warlocks or a source of magical power to...
The great old one?
Yeah, it's a great old one.
I like that. That's really good. Okay, so
as a great old one, what does it want to usher in?
What does it
What is it?
Well,
does it want the egg to hatch?
I don't think it wants the egg to hatch. but I think it gains more power from feeding off of what's inside the egg directly. Like that hole you mentioned, it got there once and can't get back there for whatever reason. Maybe there was some sort of defense mechanism that activated. But it wants whatever's in the core is like pure, like unfiltered energy that this thing feeds off of.
So it wants to eat the core.
It wants to eat, essentially, it wants to eat the mantle. Not necessarily the core. I don't think it would have gotten that deep.
Okay, so it wants to eat the mantle.
Yes.
That's its delectable little treat. Please more.
I also think, instead of like thinking about it like an egg, I think the mantle is lava. I just think it is molten
it is.
rock.
Yeah, you're 100% correct there. I've kind of been assuming that.
Yeah, I just didn't want the audience to think that he feeds off of egg juice and gets stronger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. We use the egg metaphor because it's easy, but in our minds the entire time these are like tangible global things, which just...
it's just a bunch of memes the whole way down most of the time.
Yeah.
Like Mr.
I love
Xander
that so
Hamilton.
Yeah, Xander. We have to do a whole episode on him.
We have to do a whole episode on Xander Hamilton's backstory?
Yeah, just really, really like...
Okay.
As a challenge, how deep, how much time can we spend?
How can we remake Hamilton in D&D 5e? We can figure it out. We'll do it. It's our musical episode.
Yes, that's it. Okay, so we've got this great old one creature. There are other beasties like that within the planet, perhaps not on that scale.
Yes.
But perhaps equally as malicious.
Just to circle back, we are okay setting that Pantheon as the existing Pantheon. We don't need to add any more gods, or we can later, but...
I think we could noodle on if there's another one we want to add, but I think it's more expansive than what we've gotten. But we've gotten some really good important ones there. What's the impetus of other sentient life?
I think the impetus of other sentient life is that the one they all report to, the probability god, they said that they need more of a sustainable... they needed tiers of life. Tiers of length of life to come and go at different times. So they said
so that they could dial it in with different lifespans.
So they don't need to make it as genocidal to keep everything balanced. That way the twins could do their job more efficiently and with more precision. So they made
because in the early years of the elves, the gods literally had to commit genocide against their own creations when it got out of skew.
They had to commit genocide, or they had like nothing. There wasn't enough energy being drained. So they made humans, and then humans got too much. So they dialed that back. And then they were like, okay, well, we need a median. We made dwarves.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Okay. And then some of the other races manifested in different ways, but those core races were...
Those were the
dialing
in. Yes, the balancing act.
Okay, I love that. That's good.
Yeah.
Which god does that?
Which god? I think they all sort of counsel on what sort of race needs to be created.
Okay. Let me posit you this.
Okay, posit me something, Josh.
The god of the forge, the god of creation, the architect, is designing these lives.
There is an architect that I love that. That there is someone they turn in the results to, like, okay, we need this, and he's like, I got it. Pulls in some space dust, does a couple god hammer swings on an anvil, drops out some. That's why dwarves love him.
Yep, yeah, that's their like go-to god.
Yeah, that was his. They were his special project that he made.
Yeah, he was like, these are my
chef's kiss. These are the chef's kiss dwarves.
And the elves were like, fuck the dwarves because they're our. We are supposed to be the pinnacle. We were the first. We were the grand design.
And I know this isn't this is our version of the world. You guys can change if you'd like, but I like to think he looks a little bit like you.
He wears a lot of plaid.
A lot of space plaid.
A lot of space plaid.
Okay, I like that.
I really like that. I like the architect. I like that whole thing.
Architect, probability. Life, death, war, and nature. Perfect.
And then we've got our great old one and all the other creatures that live.
We've got a few demigods. I'll probably add another one on there. So we've got the storm dragon, the eternal worm. That's just what I'm going to call him for now.
Perfect.
What else? What's another demigod? What's another powerful being, good or bad, that we could put on this world? Or neutral? Is there a neutral being?
devils and demons are critically important to D&D lore traditionally. Are we ignoring that, or how are we bringing them into this?
I think that devils and demons exist in their own dimensions and found their way to this one, so they can be mostly the same unless we want to change that.
No, that works for me.
I love devils and
they
demons.
they are dragged in because of they followed the scent of the one from beyond, the original kind of cause of life. They followed that to this planet.
I like that.
And then that's another reason that the gods have had to dial in life. Oh.
Well, that's good. I'm going off of what you did. You're right on the money. But they didn't get a sense of the egg. They got a sense of the energy being trapped inside the people on the planet. And they say, okay, we can harness that. Or at least devils did. That's why they make soul bargains. So it's like, when you die, I get that energy inside you.
Okay. Which is another direction that life can go.
Yes.
Which takes it away from the planet.
It brings
takes
it
away
to
from the
plane.
gods and puts it on another plane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. Demons are just fucking chaos. They're just pure instinct of chaos.
I like to think they are from the same plane, like the old devil demon war thing.
The blood war?
That's going on that plane. The devils came here to harvest those souls to combat the demons, and then the demons came over as well.
Technically, demons are the abyss, devils are nine hells. They're technically different places.
Right, but they're at war with each other. Those two planes like butt onto each other.
Okay. Interesting. Do you want to make those two planes like bleed into each other? And it's sort of, if you go to either one of those, you could find your way to the other one almost on accident?
Yeah. I don't know if you've read, I think it's Xanathars,
No,
but
it's
that is
Mordenkainen's,
essentially, or Mordenkainen's, yeah, they kind of set it up exactly that way, where the 9 layers of hell are the 9 layers of defenses against the demons, and the devils are at constant war with the demons.
That's badass. I like that. I love that.
And the devils come to this planet to, yeah, I like that. And it's this like arms race, stealing energy from this planet to take back to their planes.
They're essentially feeding off of people to go home and win a war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good.
I love that. I like it.
If we talk about devils and demons, what about celestials?
Celestials can suck a fat one. They don't exist.
Devas, any of that? Because
no.
I know we've said we don't like the heaven tradition. There is no heaven afterlife.
Yes.
We've established that. But are there these angelic, for lack of a better word, entities?
It's kind of hard to have a D&D setting and not include angels and celestials. So
are they?
Oh, go for it.
Sorry.
No, go.
Well, are they just the court of the god of probability?
Ooh. Interesting.
And because he's the god that information and knowledge are stored in these pinpricks of light, a lot of the things associated with this being are light, like the stars as well. And so these creatures that were made to aid them are these radiant points of light, these winged, glowing entities that are the devas and the various celestial entities, which fuels our ASMR and other creatures.
Yes, ASMRs are essentially them taking someone or having a connection with someone down there to help gather information and keep the probability god informed.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, like agents of information.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And they're like the go-between people between the stars and them, so that they have all the information.
Fantastic.
It's great. It's a good call. But is there a celestial plane?
No.
Okay, so there's no celestial plane.
Fuck Celestia and all that, Mount Celestia and all that nonsense.
I honestly don't give a shit. If I don't have to hear Pelor's name on my planet, I'll be happy.
You heard it here. No Pelor here.
This planet fucks, and there's no Pelor. I wonder if there's a connection. There is.
That's right. Pelor hates intercourse.
Pelor. Baelor. Gandalf.
Yeah. What's happening?
I don't know. I was doing a free verse poem, I guess.
It was really bad. Were you going for Balrog?
Wow. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. No, it was actually wonderful.
No, actually,
No, you're deflecting. Let's cycle back to. Did you say Baelor and then go to Gandalf and was Balrog the juxtaposition between the two there? Is that what happened?
Well, but isn't a Baelor when he fought and had a fire whip?
No, it's a Balrog. He fought a Balrog.
Well, in D&D terms, they call that a Baelor.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Because he's got a fire
good.
whip. That's how I know.
Okay. So a Baylor is Gary.
He's essentially the demon's version of a pit fiend.
Gotcha. All the same thing.
This is all getting cut. Especially my slam poem.
We're keeping.
No, I don't know.
Hey,
I don't think you
I'm
get
gonna.
Oh,
for the next like 10 minutes, every minute on the minute, I'm going to bring up your slam poetry so that you can't cut it.
It's gonna do a lot of cutting. It's gonna take a lot of work, but I'll do it. I'll find a way. No more slam poems. No, you're fine. No more slam poems on the episode, though. At least not for me.
I want more slam poems.
We'll find a way to make them good and then slip them in there.
Title the episode with the slam poems.
No, this is the episode that fucks.
Yeah, the fuck poems. Sorry.
I have to cut out a lot of this because we've just been rambling for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have.
I'll try and leave the poem thing in there.
Okay.
So we've got some demigods, we've got celestials, we've got a pantheon, we've got a lot of stuff actually since the first minutes of this episode.
We really did like pull a whole lot in.
We really did pile it on.
We've got our devil hook. We've got powers for our various classes. When you like kind of look at it from a technical eye, we've got expansion of the creation myth into the Pantheon. Mm-hmm. We've got a cycle of life and death, which is really the most important thing.
Yeah,
that's good.
This is good stuff.
I think our Pantheon's established.
I think it's pretty good. I think we're good to go on this.
Okay. All right. Well then, I mean, so we've got our Pantheon established, so that's pretty exciting. But you know what? We're not done. There's going to be an episode 4, right?
There's going to be an episode 4, of course.
That's right. Unless, yeah. So don't forget to send your questions into Lore Dump Questions.
Yes. Obviously, the thing we should do at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
Submit your questions.
I was trying to think of an organic way to get us there, and I was just like...
We'll figure it out. This is our 3rd episode. We'll do better.
We'll never get better.
I'm fine with that. This has been fun.
Yeah, this is good. This format is perfect.
Anyways, if you guys want to send us any of your questions, send it to the Lore Dump. Or shit, no. That's at Instagram and Twitter. The Lore Dump at Instagram and Twitter.
Cut. Let's try it.
Cut again. All right, hold on. Anyway, if you guys want to send in your questions at the Lore Dump, do it on Instagram and Twitter at the Lore. Okay, hold on. Cut again. I think Josh was talking during that one, so we're going to cut again.
I will kill you.
All right. If you guys want to send in your questions, do it at loredumpquestions@gmail.com or at the Lore Dump at Twitter and Instagram. We probably won't respond to your questions because we'll wait to do that here on the show. Otherwise, you won't listen, and I know you guys. It's true.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. And if you want to see Sean and I playing Dungeons & Dragons with a bunch of awesome people, come check out The Welcome In on Twitch.
Welcome In.
Twitch.tv/The Welcome In.
Ooh.
When we say twee sporadically and reference things that maybe you don't have the context to, it's that.
Yeah, that's the thing we're discussing. It's fun. Mm-hmm. We have Friday and Saturday weekly campaigns. And we do occasional one-shots on there, so come check us out if you're willing.
Hang out.
But until next time, you stay classy, San Diego. San Francisco?
And Portland, Oregon, you don't need to stay classy.
Which state was he in?
Portland, Oregon. Oh, he was in San Francisco?
Did it. Nailed it. First try. Jazz flute.
Right?
I'm
trapped in a glass cage of emotion. Bye.